hard time keeping a straight face as he walked down the beach with Sophie. Monty? He suppressed another chuckle. Did he seriously look like a Monty to her? The way she strode toward her target spoke volumes. She hadn't really looked at him. Her determined stare didn't count. He wished he hadn't wasted so much time in the gym. It clearly wasn't working. At the same time, he'd managed to get double what she'd offered, and he needed the money. He thought about his parents in Kansas and the steep medical expenses they faced. He tried to help out as much as possible, and $200 for a few hours of work was very helpful. He mentally kicked himself when he realized he probably could have gotten more. "How long have you worked this stand?" he asked, forcing the image of his father wearing an oxygen mask out of his mind. Sophie was a pretty little distraction, and he beamed down at her. "I own this stand," she corrected, a little huffily, if he did say so himself. And he did. Her feet caught the sand, and she took an extra big step to right herself. "I've owned it for 9 years. "Okay," he said. The line outside her stand stretched toward the water. Located at the junction of the highway and the boat harbor in Redwood Bay, Sophie's taco joint had prime real estate. No wonder she had been desperate for his help. "I haven't seen you around town before." Sophie opened the side door to her stand and waited for him to step inside. The smell of roasting meat mingled with the delicious aroma of salsa and the somewhat less appealing scent of oil. The fryer to his right was the culprit, and he moved further into the shack. "I'm here for the summer from L.A., he said as he glanced around for a spot to leave his balloon supplies. Every surface was clean, polished. The grill had obviously been scrubbed after lunch. He cast a sidelong look at Sophie, who had already picked up a knife. He admired her drive and her attention to detail almost as much as he appreciated her slender figure and toned arms. As she ran her knife through a rainbow of bell peppers without even looking at them, he discovered that chopping was obviously her method of weight training. "I have a menu taped to the wall right above the register. There are abbreviations for everything." She stepped through the aisle to where he stood, pointing with the tip of her knife. "If you can, use these. If not, just write it down. I'll figure it out." "Sounds peachy." He took a deep drag of air, getting a scent of her shampoo. Pineapple. He pictured her in a tropical setting, one of those fruity cocktails in her hand, wearing a bikini. Sexy. She stared at him like she wasn't sure if he was real. He simply put his hands in his pockets and grinned. She retreated quickly. "We open in 5 minutes. Maybe you can memorize a few abbreviations by then." "I'll make it work." Mont didn't look at the menu, though. He watched Sophie as she finished prepping the vegetables and started throwing tomatoes and jalapenos in a food processor. She worked with the precision of a trained chef, with the razor-edge focus of someone with goals, plans, and a future. He wondered what he'd got himself into, even if it was only for one night. Or maybe longer, he thought. He could handle hard-edged and detail-oriented if he got to witness her gyrations as she stirred the queso. Sophie had swept her hair into a high ponytail, and the color of the strands ranged from the dominant shade of honey to a darker brown. She had a body for the beach, covered in tight yoga pants and a yellow tank top. Her clothes didn't do anything to downplay her curves, and his gaze traced every line. He spun away from her when he realized he was staring and liking what he saw. Mont practically threw his tool belt on the shelf under the cash register and tore the menu from the wall. Why was he thinking about what she was wearing? Or that her eyes were a unique color between green and brown,